I really do apologize for that little issue. I received a phone call and I just could not miss it. So let's start this again. I really am sorry. Hi guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Nogwazi Ndombela, also known as Gwazi Bear on all social media platforms. Do subscribe, be a part of this family, and if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back, darling. Okay, I'm just going to wait for a couple of minutes for the people to join yet again. I really do apologize, guys. But yeah, sizoqala as soon as kujoine abantu on the live. Just tell me if my sound is good. Thank you, Mamsi. Thank you. I'm just going to wait 5 minutes now. Le video quick. Ningitshela my thoughts, and then we'll be out of here because I've got work at 7 again. Yo, guys, let us get into it. 5 more minutes. Call me Hope. All right, Hope. Oh my gosh. Hey, ama-notes ami bengiwabhala rough ama-notes ami, so I hope that they will be on point and I'll be able to touch on everything that I need to touch on that happened today in court. So guys, if you haven't watched my previous live, the one that I did on, was it Sunday? I think I did it on Sunday. Please watch that live straight after this one because, guys, we called it. We called it. I came here. I said, yay, the judge needs to calm down. He needs to give Mnisi the time that Mnisi needs. And guess what? We're here. We are here. So with the proceedings of the day today, we were expecting to hear exactly what was going on with the whole Mnisi situation. As you guys will recall, last week it was drama on Monday, where Mnisi basically told the courts, Uguti, I'm unable to continue with cross-examination because I'm not done. And Rata throwing a tantrum saying, you know, you had more than enough time and I expect you to be here on Tuesday to start cross-examination or else your client will have to represent himself. Mnisi basically said, no, listen, I can't. I won't be ready by Tuesday. I will not be ready. And if you're forcing me to be ready, I will drop out. So today we were going to hear a verdict with regards to what Mnisi and the judge and everyone has decided. Hi, pretty. How are you, Nana? So Umshololo is not in. Umalo was standing in for Umshololo. And guys, the notice of motion. Let us talk about the notice of motion because Mnisi literally, it sounded like he was me on Sunday. Mnisi sounded like he was ticking from my notes from Sunday, literally, with that notice of motion, right? So the judge basically says, okay, kune notice of motion ekhona, and I'm gonna allow Mnisi to read this notice onto the record so that everybody knows what's going on. And I'm not gonna read it word for word or quote it verbatim or verbatism, as Gininda says. But I am going to touch on some of the important points that Mnisi hoid in that notice of motion, right? Firstly, he started by saying, you know, on Thursday, the 17th, he did come to court and he was, on Thursday, he did basically try to reach out to legal aid and they were unavailable because it was after hours. So he did sign this on behalf of legal aid, but legal aid is very much aware of this letter. Glad you are here. Isingisi samnisi basiphakeme kakhulu sangidida. Oh, child, Mnisi did the Lord's work. Hi, Isaiah. You've missed me. Excuse me. I've been posting other videos. Where have you been? Why aren't you watching my other videos, Isaiah? Anyway, guys, I'm going to try not to read the comments so that I don't get distracted with this notice of motion. I get through it all and then I'll go through the comments so that I can see you guys' views on this. So, Mnisi basically says, you know what? One, I am requesting a further postponement because I'm not ready, which is something we were well aware of from last week, Monday already. And he says that he does require a further date for him to prepare. Now he goes into the factual background with regards to why he's requesting that this case be postponed further. He says, now he starts right from the get-go, like from scratch, right? He says, one, he has been a part of this case from the very beginning, which is something we all already know. He has been a part of this case from inception. And unfortunately, last year in December, Mngomezulu passed away. And due to the untimely passing of Mngomezulu, he was then approached by legal aid. So it wasn't a thing, Yoguti, legal aid suggested Mnisi. No, legal aid went to Mnisi and said, listen, you've been a part of this case and you need to take over. Basically, this is what Mnisi is saying in this letter. All along, I've been of the thoughts that it was a suggestion. Maybe just one of you. No. Legal aid approached Mnisi specifically and said, hey, here is a client now. You need to take over. Hi, Paulina. Oh, Isaiah, thank you so much. Now I can really tell that you missed me. Thank you so much for the super thanks, Isaiah. Right. So, guys, he then goes on to say, all right, I was approached by Legal Aid on the 8th of January, 2025. He was stating facts. And he says, I did indicate that I would be ready by the 20th of January to cross-examine the witness. But you know what? I am still not ready. I sort of overlooked or underestimated the amount of work that needed to be done. But the state did indicate that the amount of pages that needed to be read, or the amount of transcript that needed to be read or to go through, is about 40,000 pages. Now, guys, if you remember what I said on Sunday, I specifically said, all of us have been a part of this case. Mnisi's been a part of this case, and I will speak for myself, even though I'm not a lawyer. I even said, I've been a part of this case, not representing any of the accused, but listening to the evidence based on all of the accused. Mina, myself, I know information about this case at the back of my head, right? But it's not all information that I know. If you guys remember the conversation on Sunday, I said, Mina, you can ask me specifics about the evidence that was led by Utumelo. Yes, I might not know it word for word, but I can tell you, Uguti, one of the things that Tumelo said is this, and this, off the back of my head. Now, it's a different situation when you are representing a person. Yes, you might know the background of the witnesses that have come, but when you're representing a person, it's a completely different story, because you need to, one, refer to the record. You need to, two, not only refer to the record, but in the record, the people that have been cross-examined, you need to refer back to the record that they quote on their evidence. You understand? So it's a lot more than just reading 40,000 pages. And I'm so glad that Mnisi pointed this out. He even went as far as saying, on the 14th of April, which was last week, Monday, I indicated to the court that I was still not ready, and we were called to chambers, and we had a conversation, and the judge requested that I put this on record. And what I loved about Mnisi is that Mnisi threw the judge right under the bus in that moment, because he says, when I tried to put this on record, the judge, the court, then said to me that that I have had enough time to go through the 40,000 pages. The 2 months was enough, right? And Urata even went as far as saying, I've read the 40,000 pages. Urata, reading on its own is not enough. And I liked it when Mnisi said, after the judge heard state and what the state has to say about me not being ready, the judge never gave me an opportunity to explain how far I am with my work, how much more time am I going to need. They didn't give me the opportunity to actually voice that. And Mnisi was right. If you guys remember on Monday, judge basically just said, hey, you've had more than enough time. Tuesday you come here and you must be ready, or else your client must represent himself. He didn't give Mnisi enough time to say, hey, okay, I understand that you're not ready, but how much more time do you need? Or how much more of the 40,000 pages, or how much of the 40,000 pages have you already read? And how much do you need to read still, you know? And Mnisi also says, I also said, if the judge does not give me enough time, then I will obviously ask to be excused from this case. He does point out that he said that he will ask to be excused. And he says that the judge then made a decision for the proceedings to continue today, which is the 22nd. And he then also emphasizes the fact that, you know what, when we refer to the 40,000 pages worth of the transcript, it doesn't only mean I'm just reading through it. I'm reading, I'm analyzing, and I need to prepare arguments. And I love this. I loved it so. He was so passionate when he was reading this notion. And I was like, you know what? I'm so proud of Mnisi. I'm so proud of Mnisi. Tsidi, thank you so much. Guys, uTsidi uthi nje 7 months lapho. Some supporters, you understand? Okay, sharp. And then he also says, you know, kuwona lama transcripts, as much as I can read the 40,000 pages, kunala kureferwa khona to another day. So let's say kune witness that is on the stand. When this witness is on the stand, we will refer to mhlawumbe dates yango 2014 when Tumelo was on the stand. Now I have to go back to the day when Tumelo was on the stand and read through that as well. So it is not just reading 40,000 of pages. And also, he also mentions Uguti, you know, he spent 2 days in Modabi, right? And kulo 2 days that he spent in Modabi consulting with accused number 1, he needed to do follow-ups after the consulting, because remember, it's not just about reading the 40,000 of pages. Urepresent umuntu la. Angeke ufike ufunde 40,000 of pages and then say, just because I've read sengiqedile, I don't need to consult. He still needs to consult. He still needs to go back to accused number 1 and say, okay, I've read this 40,000 worth of transcripts, but when it's in into yakho, how do you want me to lead your case? What do you want me to ask? Who are your witnesses? What else do you need? Do you understand? So Mnisi pointed that out, which I loved. He also says, also, when I consulted with accused number 1, we realized that there are certain transcripts that we require from the state that I have requested, and some of them I still have not received till today. I still have not received. I requested some information from the state. Some of it I've received, some of it I haven't received. So all of that needs to be taken into account when we talk about the time that it's taken me to actually go through the transcripts. And then he also says, I would have indicated all this information if I had been given the opportunity to talk on Monday. I love that for Mnisi because funny chachi under the bus. Love that for him. Love that so much for him. And then he also says, another thing is that I am still not in possession of some of the records, right? He says some of them from 2025, records from this year, I have not received them. So they're missing, right? And he also says that delayed is not justice denied. But however, the accused still need the right legal representation, which is something I emphasized so much on Sunday. To say, yes, accused number one might have fired Uramusipili, who was from legal aid. But does that now take away his rights for illegal representation? Yes, he fired Uramusipili because he felt he was not doing a good job with representing him. So now, does that mean that legal aid needs to take away the right for representation in that case? Because what fired Uramusipili? I asked this question so many times on Sunday, and it was something that Mnisi addressed as well. And then, to top it all up, guys, on top of the delays that we already have from Mnisi being a new representative, we still have a pandemic state that keeps wanting to lead new evidence, because Mnisi points out that the state sent an email. He made a mistake and said on the 21st of April when he meant the 25th of March, where they're saying they want to lead new evidence on photos that were found on accused number three's phone. You want to lead new evidence at this stage during cross-examination of your final witness. Please make it make sense. And how many times has this court been delayed because the state is bringing new evidence week in and week out? Did you hear the judge complaining about that new evidence? I did not. I did not hear the judge say a single thing about that new evidence that the state now wants to lead with regards to the cell phone evidence that, according to Baloyi, it has nothing to do with accused number one. It's more about accused number 2 and 3. But is Mnisi not representing accused number 3? Is that not adding up to Mnisi's work? The state, guys, what is the state playing at this point? What is the state playing at this point? Let me continue with this notice. And he then says, following the evidence in court does not mean that, he knows every aspect of the case. And I completely agree. I completely agree. Just because he's been here from the beginning, it doesn't mean he can quote Utumelo from the top of his head. It doesn't mean he can quote transcripts from the top of his head. It doesn't mean he can refer to evidence Yakininda from the top of his head. You understand? And then also, he says that, yes, although he's been here from the beginning, and yes, he has cross-examined some of the other witnesses, but he's never received instruction from accused number one, which is a very important point. He's never received instruction. He has, yes, cross-examined some of the aspects of accused number one, but if in Kumbula Gatle, most of the things, guys, let's be honest. Let's be honest, la. Before you guys, let me just be honest. When all the when all the attorneys were cross-examining on behalf of the other accused that aren't their clients, they were not thoroughly cross-examining. You guys, nizon quote because kunama video where I say, yes, Mnisi is assisting Uramusipili with Untanti, but still, kunama questions that have been left out. Yes, Mnisi is asking about accused number one, but he still hasn't touched on certain aspects. I remember saying this so many times, and I was saying, Uramusipili didn't ask these questions, and at the back of my head, I kept saying, maybe they're waiting for Umgomezu. Umgomezulu. Sorry guys, I don't know if you guys can still hear me. My phone seemed to be connecting. My phone seemed to be connecting, so I'm not sure if you guys can still hear me. Please indicate with a yes or a thumbs up if you guys can still hear me. It just said connecting, and I think you might have missed some of the information that I said just now. Okay, you can hear. Great, thank you guys. So, when Mnisi says, yeah, I've been here, yes, we cross-examined, but we didn't go into full details, guys. We didn't go, guys, Umshololo, when she asked about izinto zantanzi, she didn't go deep. She was here at the surface. Mnisi, when she touched on izinto, been battling to go, okay, thank you, TD. Mnisi, when he was touching on izinto accused number one, it was just at the top, la ubeka phezulu. So now that accused number one is actually his client, he needs to go deeper. He needs to go deeper because that was never done. So he does touch on that as well. And then he says that he feels like he has a gun held to his head when he's been pressured to actually cross-examine before he's ready. right? And that doesn't resonate with the right to a fair trial. I love that. That particular part in that motion, I loved it because when you're rushing Mnisi, what are you saying? You're saying that he must not do a thorough job at representing accused number one. Uyamjaha. You're rushing him. He's not going to do a proper job. And is that a fair trial? Is that a fair trial if he's not doing a proper job? My network, my network is fighting, guys. My network is fighting today. I don't know what's going on. My network is really fighting with me today, guys. I really do apologize. I'm almost done though. Um, he also then says, you know, the pressure that has been put on me is not yielding results for a fair trial. And then the judge says, then the judge says, oh, but I'm okay. Okay, thank you. Then the judge basically says, okay, we've heard that, and okay, we get it. So the details that Mnisi is requiring, Baloyi, do you have those details? Has it been aired out between the two of you? And Ubaloyi then says, okay, firstly, the email that he's referring to with regards to the new evidence of the photos was sent on the 10th of April, which is even worse. Which is even worse because the 10th of April was just last week or 2 weeks ago, if I'm not mistaken. So Ubaloyi is still cooking. Ubaloyi is still cooking. New evidence on the 10th of April. When you said Ukininda is your final witness and you've already led evidence with Ukininda, we are now in the process of cross-examination and you're telling us about new evidence. Kanjani? Kanjani? It's like a cook as you go, pay as you go kind of thing with the state, honestly. And then Ubaloy then basically says this information, this new evidence, only pertains to accused number 2 and 3, and not accused number and not accused number 1. And the judge says, well, in essence, it also affects accused number 1 because these people have been charged with common purpose, right? And then Uramsipili then says, you know what, as much as the postponement of this particular matter is at the discretion of the court, but in the interest of justice, the reasons that Mnisi has given are justifiable, which I agree with 100%. They are justifiable, and the court should be inclined to actually grant this postponement. Ngumalo also agrees, and he just basically says, i-affidavit Mnisi actually speaks for itself. It spoke volumes. I-affidavit Mnisi spoke volumes, guys. It was loud. It was right up here, right? So basically, judge then asks accused number 1, Uguti, okay, I hear Mnisi, but accused number 1, do you still want to be represented by Advocate Mnisi? Accused number 1 says, showcase. Mnisi says, I'm still willing to go forward. Just give me the time that I need. And yeah, so they go on a short adjournment, and when they get back, Ijaji basically then, you know him with his other cases, he basically tells us about another case, and it relates to like section 35, and he says, you know, with this case, basically a child was raped in this case, and this is what happened, and because one of the accused in the cases was not given the opportunity to cross-examine the child, because apparently the child in that case disappeared. So basically, he just made a typical example with this case and says, in this case, there was a child that was raped. She was allegedly raped by 3 people. The 3 accused in the case were arrested, or there was a trial, and the child was then cross-examined by the attorneys or the defense for the 3 accused. And during the trial, the child disappeared, and they later found that the child had committed suicide. Now, because accused number 1 accused number 2 had cross-examined the child already, and the child disappeared during the cross-examination of accused number 3, basically the case was concluded and the 3 gentlemen were arrested. But then it was taken on appeal, and we appealed. They basically said because accused number 3 wasn't given the opportunity to cross-examine the witness before they committed suicide, that the trial was unfair. So trial. So in essence, what the judge was saying is that the only reason why he's granting this postponement is so that if, should I say when, we go to Supreme Court, when he's made a judgment on this case, if it goes to Supreme Court and it's said that the judge rushed Mnisi, they can basically appeal on those grounds. That's where the judge was going. In my opinion, that's how I viewed it. Uguti, the judge is saying, you know what, angimniki Mnisi the opportunity so that ngizowenza the judgment at the end, and if it goes to Supreme Court of Appeal, then you know what, I've got my back covered. Mnisi had a fair trial, according to me, and it's at Supreme Court and it can't be questioned. Basically, that's what the judge said. So they came to the conclusion that Mnisi will be ready because nobody is opposing the application. Mnisi will be ready on they say the 5th. Mnisi says they'll come back on the 5th. However, if he's still not ready on the 5th, then they'll give him until the 19th of May to actually cross-examine Ukinida. So those were the proceedings of the day. I am highly impressed with the advocate Mnisi. Let me get into the comments and see what you guys are saying there by the comments. Hi Lerato, hi Ali. They think reading means analysis. Hi, yes, it's a completely different ball game when you're representing someone. Hi TD. Thank you so much, TD. Urata wants to go to history as the judge who solved the case in 2 years. That's why he is rushing. And there's no rush. Honestly, there's no rush. Excuse me. He still needs to speak to witnesses. True, Pretty. He needs to speak to witnesses. He needs to speak to now consultant now you speak also Ghost Nation today. I just saw a message from Ghost Lady. I'm not sure if we're going in, but if Ghost Lady is live, I will definitely be there in a few minutes, guys. Advocate Mnisi, thank you for not abandoning Muzihle. I was so conflicted after you left us with that emotional threat. Yo, TD, Nami. But I was hoping that the judge will get back to his senses and say, you know what, I was a bit dramatic last week, today. So I'm glad that it was aired out. Lerato, sound is bad. I'm so sorry, Lerato. My network is acting up today. Hi, Gwazi and family. Hi, Otelia. Rata wants to say he never refused Mnisi an opportunity to explain himself. Well, he did the exact. He did. He tried to deny it. Namhlanje. I would have fired Ramusipili. Quite pretty. They are still cooking in Advocate Mgomezulu's voice. Hey, babes, are they cooking? Shame. Okay, we can hear loud and clear. Utsidi been battling to, okay, I got that one. Alright, Utsidi says prior to that, the judge had concluded that there wasn't going to be a new evidence beyond what Mnisi is hoping to introduce. In the meantime, here, Baloyi says he's going to introduce those new pictures. What I'm asking is, how is he going to introduce those new pictures? So he's going to ask to reopen his case, because right now we're cross-examining. After cross-examination, kuzobe re-exam. Shuti may re-exam, that's when he'll introduce. And then isn't that new evidence, which means all the advocates, 1 to 5, will have to cross-examine based on the new evidence again. Guys, it's a lot. It's a lot, honestly. Derek Kwazibe, you look stunning. Thank you so much. Utejo says, me too, TD, poor guy. Yo, guys, you want to allow my comment in namhlanje. If there's anything else, quickly ask before Pume. I'm thinking I'll be out in the next 10 minutes so that I can prepare for the Ghost Nation if we are going in today. Is there anything else that you feel that I have left out? If there is, please let me know so I can touch on it quickly. Yo, ama-notes amabhalwe emaphepheni namhlanje bengitshontsha emsebenzini. Awabhalwanga kwibhuku lami lama-notes. Hi Kwazi darling, yinkinga yodwa le esibhekene nayo, states and rights. Honestly, because now bazo-introduce new evidence, bazo-reintroduce kanjani? Because i-case yabo bona sebevalile ngithi. Njengoba sekuyi-cross examination, bazo-introduce through i-re-exam. So when they introduce new evidence in re-examination, it means ukuthi then it gives Ramusipili the opportunity to cross-examine again. Mnisi to cross-examine again. Umalo to cross-examine again. And then Umshololo to cross-examine again. Because it's new evidence. Kuningi guys, kuningi. Rata and emphasizing that he is a fair judge. Oh please. Oh please. He Urata, he loves emphasizing that he's fair, yeah, nah. Oh, he's doing the best that he possibly can. Please, please. He must just stop playing games with us, honestly. Guys, I do apologize about earlier, ne? For those of you that joined my first live. Oh, guys. Gitole, a very important call that I needed to answer, so that was that. After all what Sis Pat and Jeffs put on the table, can he still sentence these guys? Tabang, all the information that Pat and Jabulo have unpacked recently is stuff that we've been saying. It's stuff that we've been saying. It's nothing new. It's stuff that we've been saying. Young Kanjele, information yama AVL. Guys, we know this information. We know this information. All of us, we've been saying it. Mrs. Pat has been saying it on Twitter for the longest time. Jabulo has been saying this on the lives for the longest time. Everything that they are unpacking now is not new information to us that have been following this case. We've been knowing, we've been saying, we've been telling you guys through our videos. All my previous videos, go back. If you want to go back to AVL evidence. We've been saying these things. AVL and confirming what Ntanzi was saying. We've been saying that. Mrs. Pat has been saying it. It's not new. It's not new. It's not new information. Don't be shocked. Do not be shocked. We've been saying this whole case is cooked from way back when. The person who took those photos should be recalled. Yeah. If they were ever called, because remember, Uzungu also says he was part of the photos, but then when he's asked where is he, ukomba umuntu velenge elbow. Remember this evidence, guys. Niyekumbula le evidence. We've covered this. Zungu says he's part of the people that were there because, hey, my elbow is showing. So we need the person who took the photo. I don't think the person that took the photos has come to court. They could come to court on behalf of the accused because they will confirm. Because I will. Last say hostel alan and abantu ababekhona kwaku so and so. Olungisani ndwandwe nje still need to come. We've been knowing this information, guys. It's not new. From as early as last year. No, CK, he took over from the people that cooked the case. Keninda was not involved in 2014. If you remember, Abantaba phone on that night. If you remember, we know this evidence. If you remember the people that were called on that night, let me just say Smiya being one of them. That's all I'm saying. Angi but Keninda wasn't involved from the get-go. He took over from the people that were involved from the get-go. That's all I'm saying. Keninda Pella, remember, only became a part of this case officially in 2018. But from the evidence that he led himself, he already knew about this case in 2016. He wasn't the lead investigator, yes, but he was part of. he was part of. He was a small poet, yo. Let me run for my life. Sizoboshwa, sizothini commissioner. Sizothini commissioner, guys. Guys, let me check on Ghost Lady if we're going live on the Ghost Nation. If we are, I will see you guys on that side. Thank you so much for joining my live. Thank you so much for the likes, for those of you that have liked. If you haven't liked, 1 million. What are you waiting for? Please like the video. Please share the video. Please comment. Please do the most so that I reach a greater audience, because as I always say, more people need to know about this case. The more you like, the more you share, the more you comment, the more people get introduced to the case and the right information when it comes to this case. Guys, it's very important. Very important. Akudingi ukuthi iphelele la kuthina. Mele sispread lento. Share the lives, like the lives, comment on the live, so that YouTube izoyisabalalisa i-video. Right? So that we reach more people, so that more people's eyes are opened when it comes to this case. Because clearly, some people are still... What I need is the judge to see the visuals, ATM, AVL, all. I think the judge already knows, guys. That guy is not stupid. He just sometimes acts like he is. But he's not stupid, Judge Rata. Judge Ghost Lady or live. Okay, yes, I'm going to the Ghost Nation now, guys. On the other side. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you for liking. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for super thanksing. Yabona leyo ke yokusuper thanks. Ngithanda hure. Net for that one. Chef's kiss. See you at the Ghost Nation, guys. Good night. I will see you guys on the 19th. We're back on the 19th. You know me, when the court is quiet, I go quiet. But watch my other videos. Watch my vlogs. Watch my day in the lives. Watch my other makeup videos. Guys, just for the support, ne? Watch my other videos just for the support, because Nyang's hand and I'm in hand. So just watch my other videos and just like and just, do the most. Bye.